Hello, everybody. Okay, so we are live. I have not done an Instagram live for years, so this is going to be interesting. Um, I wanted to do this talk today because I'm doing a workshop on Saturday that is about reclaiming your power and changing your reality. Now, to some people, this can just be words. It may not mean anything. We see a lot of motivation on Instagram, a lot of you can live your best life, go and do it, lots of motivational quotes, but what do they actually mean? They don't really mean anything unless you do something with it. So I wanted to have a little chat, and I'm also recording this as a podcast for anybody who can't who misses the live. So a little introduction about myself. I am Roseanna Croft. I am the host of the podcast Design Your Legacy. And this podcast, I hope to inspire and encourage people to really go and live their best life possible. I'm also the founder and director of Roseanna Croft Jewellery, which is a fine jewellery brand. For years, we've specialised in redesigning heirloom pieces, creating engagement and wedding rings. And we are soon to be going into something really exciting. I'm cooking up a storm in the design room. So and I'm also a spiritual life coach. I recently trained as a coach because I've been through some shit and I realized that I really had to make a change in my life, and making this change took a lot of courage, and I realized that there was no way I could really do it alone. So it really sparked my passion to want to become a coach and help other people who want to make a change in their life. So that brings me on nicely to, what does it mean to reclaim your power? So I really think that reclaiming your power is all about going from life happens to me victim mentality to I create my reality, and I am in, I want to say in control, but we're not really in control. But I can choose how I experience this life. I can choose the experience that I want to have, and I can either choose to have an experience filled with love, wonder, and joy, or I can choose to have an experience that's filled with fear, stress, and anxiety. And 18 months ago, this is exactly where I was. I was living a reality that was run by fear. I was chasing goals and trying so damn hard to be successful, but everything that I was doing was coming from a place of fear. And I was absolutely miserable. I was having anxiety attacks before I went into meetings. I was working something like 10-hour days, not really getting much done. It was in the time of the pandemic as well, so we didn't really have much. You know, a lot of our focuses were only work, or so my focuses were work hard, play hard, but by playing hard I was eating and drinking hard to combat the stress that I was under. And I was exercising hard. I was about to run 2 marathons in a year, within like three weeks of each other. I was about to start training for this, and it was just, I mean, my life was, it was like teetering on the edge. I was like teetering on the edge, and it combusted. I'm People who have followed me for a while may know that a year ago I was diagnosed with a rare type of breast cancer, and this was the teetering on the edge and me going whoop. Kind of falling off the edge. And this is almost when I started to see my life fall apart. Now, I was at a stage where, yes, I was very, very stressed. I was very, very fearful. I was so anxious, and I was really, really unhappy. But like the materialistic success goals that I thought that um I wanted, I was so within reach. They were so within reach. I was so nearly there with it, that was motivating me to keep going. Now, I when I started to realize that I was unhappy. This is when I started to reclaim my own power. Now, I started spending kind of more time on my own, more time in reflection. Me and my partner split up because ultimately I knew we weren't happy together. He wasn't happy, I wasn't happy. We were just making do. I think we were in a place where we were both making do. We both lived together for quite a while. We had a lot of commitments together, but it was just neither of us were fulfilled. And I was also not fulfilled in other areas, like my career. I was working far too much. And whilst I managed to hit the financial targets, was it worth it? No, probably not. In fact, no, it wasn't at all. But I um but I kind of started to open my eyes to the fact that what I was doing wasn't working. And I was actually seeking advice from other people, from coaches. I was following different people online, trying to learn more. I was delving more into science and spirituality. And then very synchronistically, I was given an opportunity where I could put all of this into practice, and I could actually start reclaiming my power and really having to change my reality. I'd actually picked up a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Becoming Supernatural, and I'd started reading this book. And I was like, right, okay, me and my partner are split up. I'm about to move house. I found my dream apartment. It was this beautiful, beautiful place, a wonderful landlady. The door was pink. It couldn't have been more perfect for me. And I just knew I just knew that the universe was on my side, and I was starting to see some really amazing change in my life. And I moved into this apartment, and then 6 days later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I mean, without being dramatic, my life literally fell apart in front of my eyes. It takes 10 seconds for your life to completely change. And from there, I sort of went in, I was in a bit of shock at the beginning, obviously. But when the shock of the diagnosis and what was about to happen kind of disappeared a little bit, when it calmed down, I went into warrior mode. I went into, right, okay, this is my opportunity. I've been on a personal and spiritual development journey for 5 years now. I have managed with some success in my business, in fact a lot of success. I've done really well. I'd moved to London, I had the relationship, I had all of this perfect scenario around me, perfect, but kind of come from perfect but from the wrong place. I've managed to do this in other areas of my life, so why can I not do this in my health? So I'm really, really going to have to work hard to change my reality and change this diagnosis. I'm going to have to become healthy again. The type of breast cancer that I had was I think it's something like 10% of all breast cancers. All my family and friends says, trust you to get the special one. It couldn't just be straightforward. But in reality, it actually was kind of straightforward. I had some chemo. I went through some physical changes. I had a mastectomy and a reconstruction, and here we are. It wasn't that simple. In fact, a year ago today, I had my first ever chemo. Session, and it was the most terrifying thing I've ever been through. And I remember coming out of it thinking, oh, that wasn't that bad. If it's all going to be like that, I'm going to be absolutely fine. It wasn't. It got worse and worse and worse and worse. But I knew that I was on this journey to really see big change in my life. I had to shrink a tumor. I had to shrink a tumor and come out of this. I wrote down at the beginning of my journey, I want to come out of this healthier than I went in, and I did. And I took responsibility for my life. I took responsibility for the fact that I'd been living in fear and stress and extremely unhappy and not taking care of myself. And that then manifested into physical conditions in my body, be that anxiety or a tumor forming. And now I was going to take the responsibility to change it and start becoming healthy, healing, and creating a life that I actually wanted. So fast forward 6 months later, I at the beginning of the journey, I was given a 50% chance of completely shrinking the tumor. And I I learned a lot on my journey. I learned a lot about science, I learned a lot about psychology, and I learned a lot about spirituality and having faith and following my intuition. And this was probably one of the biggest things that got me through, was following my intuition. Now, I followed my intuition when it gave me the whisper and it gave me the nudge that, Roseanna, you don't need any more chemotherapy. When I was having chemo towards the end, it was really kind of touch and go with my mental health. So I was experiencing manic energy, manic, I don't want to say depression, because it was a chemical in my body that was changing changing the hormones, changing the chemicals, and I was having suicidal thoughts. And at this stage I was like, I can just not have any more chemo. I do not want any more. I am not going to have any more. So I had this nudge saying, Roseanna, you don't need any more chemo. So I went to my doctors. I told them I didn't want any more chemo. A lot of back and forth, a lot of different opinions. I cried on the phone to my nurse for an hour and a half one day. And, it was one of the scariest things I've ever had to do, but I followed my intuition. And long story short, when the pathology results came back after my mastectomy, I'd completely shrunk the tumor. The tumor had completely gone, with about a quarter of less of the chemo that I was supposed to have, and being given only a 50% chance. So I really believe that this is because I realized that I was more powerful than I thought I was. I was more powerful than I was kind of being told. And I took responsibility. I took it into my own hands. I didn't just listen to the doctors. I didn't just let kind of things go as they would have done. I said, right, well, what else can I do to change the outcome of this? So in doing that, I had the absolute best result possible. And I did come out of it healthier than I went in. I had stopped drinking every night. I'd started watching what I ate more. My mind was healthier after, when I finally came off these toxic chemicals. Like, my mind was healthier. I was in such a good place. And my life has continued to get better from there. Now, it has been a really, really hard 6 months, but every day I know that I get to create my reality, and I know that I get to wake up, be in my power, and not give in to the fear that I was feeling 12, 18 months ago, not even 18 months ago, like probably my whole adult life. I've run my life based on fear and based on, oh, if I do this, then, like, kind of wanting to go towards safety. And I believe that this is how a lot of people live their life. A lot of people's goals and ambitions are based on wanting to create this feeling of security and safety, and which actually, those feelings can only ever come from within you. They don't come from living in the mansion. They don't come from the Chanel handbag. They don't come from having £1 million in your bank account. Those feelings of safety and security can only ever come from within you. And this is what I was trying to do. I was trying to create the most successful jewelry company in the UK. And I mean, not that I'm like competing with Tiffany's or anything, but I was trying to be this incredibly successful, perceived as this incredibly successful businesswoman, because I thought it would get me these feelings of security, safety, love, worthiness. And what I learned on my journey, that the only way I'm ever going to feel those feelings is if I generate them myself. So in fact, this is one of the biggest things I learned on my journey, was that if I want to feel healthy, that if I want to be healthy, that feeling has to come from within me. I have to start feeling those feelings of vitality, and that I am completely 100% in the clear. I have to feel those before they actually happen. Now, there's a lot of science behind this. There's a lot of psychology involved in that. We have to work to change the beliefs that are deeply ingrained in our subconscious mind. Quantum physics, which is the new science, quantum physics is now showing that we don't live in a linear timeline. We live in this quantum field, and we can create anything. There are infinite possibilities available to us, and this is all being backed up by science now, and it's absolutely amazing, because what spiritual leaders and texts and ancient texts, Eastern philosophy, what they've been speaking about for thousands of years is now being backed up by science. And the main thing to get in this is that you create your reality, and it is all down to your thoughts and your feelings. And in that is really how you can reclaim your power and start living this wonderful, extraordinary life. And I don't think people really get it when we see these nice quotes that I mentioned before online. Like, it is actually possible. It's not all just fluff and bullshit. Like, you can actually feel better in your life. And this is a huge passion of mine, to help people connect with the part of themselves that is powerful, that is divine, that is just love, and you will see that reflected back to you. So that's kind of how I realized that I could reclaim my power. Like, I'd been learning things about the law of attraction, and I read and watched The Secret 5 years ago, and I've been trying to manifest this wonderful life. And what that is missing is the teachings of The Secret and law of attraction misses out quite a lot, in that actually you have to feel it within yourself before anything is going to appear in front of you in your life. And really, if you want to live a wonderful life, you just have to generate those feelings of living a wonderful life, and living and generating the feelings from your heart within yourself before they will be reflected back to you in the world. So yes, and on Saturday I will be running a workshop about reclaiming your power and changing your reality, and I'll be going into some of the science behind it, and how you can do it, and how we can rewire some of our patterns, our subconscious beliefs, which is what I really had to do to get from this place of living in fear. All my goals were set based on fear, to wanting to create this life built on a foundation of love, knowing that then this is how I'm going to create this a wonderful and magical life. And some of the main values and feelings I want to experience in my life are adventure and vitality, and abundance and love, and I'm knowing that I'm in charge. I am in charge of generating those feelings within my body. I'm in charge of putting that energy back out into the world, and then I will see it reflected back to me. That is where the power is. That is so, so exciting to me. I chose to bring myself to this beautiful hotel today to we have dodgy Wi-Fi signal, but I chose to bring myself to this beautiful hotel just outside of London to celebrate, because this time last year I was strapped up onto a chemo machine, and stepping in here, I'm stepping in here knowing that this is my treat to myself because I love myself. It's not, it's just a treat. It's just to make, it's just, I just feel so much love for myself, for the woman that went through the shit that she went through in the last year, and knowing that tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow I get to create my reality as well, and just having that faith in myself and faith in that I'm being guided by something higher, and actually that something higher still comes from within me. My higher self, the higher self, is still within me, and knowing that if I keep following my intuition and those nudges and those whispers, that I will be guided into this incredible and wonderful life. So if you are interested in joining the workshop on Saturday, it's an hour long, 10:30 to 11:30, and I will take you through some of the techniques that I put into practice to change my reality last year, and I hope that then you can put it into practice into changing an area of your life that you are potentially unhappy with, not completely satisfied with. It could just be as simple as, I'm really stressed, I want to feel inner peace. And I mean, just being able to change that will change so many wonderful things. And yes, and I will also be running a meditation in that, and there'll be opportunity for Q&A as well. So if you want some kind of one-to-one advice or coaching around a particular area and what I believe you can do to reclaim your power within that area, then there will be that opportunity for you there as well. And there will be a replay for those who can't make it. So sign up. I will put the link in. The link is in my bio, but I'll put it in my stories as well. I can see lots of people have joined, and some of my good friends from all around the world are here. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that you have had a wonderful afternoon and have taken something from this. And if you want to listen to it again, it will be available on my Instagram, but also on the podcast, which will be released on Sunday. So I'm going to leave you there. Have a wonderful evening, and think about how you can reclaim your power in the next couple of days. How do you want to reclaim your power? Why do you want to reclaim your power? What area of your life do you want to change? And what are the feelings that you want to generate in your life? Forget about the stuff, forget about the goals. What are the feelings you want to generate? What are the feelings you want to feel? And with that, I give you so much love and have a wonderful evening.